Hello friends, welcome back to the video series in Oracle PL SQL programming. In this video, we would discuss on the insert command in SQL. And as you know, insert command is actually used to insert a new record in any table. Now, we have to remember one thing. When we are inserting the data, we have to follow the sequence of columns present in the table, and the data we are passing to the table or particularly columns with the proper data types as they are. Now, if we pass the column name in the random order and the data with that is also acceptable. We will also check how to insert the default and null value when inserting the data. Let's check all things in practical way to deal with insert. At first, connect to the database, and for that the username is system and the password is password throughout the series. So now we are connected to the Oracle database. As you know, in the DDL statements, we have created a table employee. We should work with it to insert the data. And for that, at first clear the screen. At first, we are checking the structure of the table employee, and for that DSC employee. So when inserting the data, we must have the sequence of columns at first with respective data types, and moreover with the constraints are attached with the column to follow. Let's check how we can insert the data. Be sure to check the name of the table be right, as here it one is employee. So insert into the name of the table, that one is employee. Then the values and the left parenthesis. First time we would only pass the values with respective sequence of the columns and their data type enclosed by the function values and the parenthesis. So first one is our EMP ID. So it is 101. Then we have the first name, and we are typing here as suppose Sumun, and also within the single quote. Then comma, then the last name. Then we are typing dash and also within the single quote. Then the comma. Then we have the email ID, and also that should be in the single quote. So Sumon Dash @ suppose example.com, comma, then the gender. As you know, gender column contains check constraint. So you can check inserting any other value. But here we are inserting only capital M and also within the single quote. Next one is the contact number. So we are inserting the contact number here. Suppose 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And also within the single quote, as it is containing the data type as char. Then the date of join, and also the date of join here has the data type date. So for that we are using the sysdate command. Then we have the departmental ID. or DEPT ID. So here we are inserting the value as null. So that is also possible, the null value. Department ID at that moment we are inserting as null. We would update it later. Although date of join column contain default values, we are inserting here the sysdate which returns or inserts the current date. And also in the date of birth, we are inserting the null value. Then semicolon and press enter. Missing comma. So something is there which is missing a comma. Yes, here we have a comma missing. So we are using the ed command here and we are inserting a comma here. Ctrl S to save and exit, and then the front slash and one row created. So now look at the department table as previously created. And for that, at first we are clearing the screen. And now we have the structure of the department table. And the department table have two columns only, the DEPT ID and the DEPT name. We are also inserting the data into the department table, and for that we have insert, then into the name of the table. Here that one is department, then the values, that particular keyword, then within parenthesis the first one is the department ID, so 10, then suppose the next one department name as BCA, then semicolon, press enter. So one row created. Suppose we want to add another row here, so we can use in that way. The same statement is here, and here we are changing the department ID value and the department name value. Press enter, another row created. Now to avoid the syntax or statement repeatedly, to insert values we can write the script here. That means insert into values, then within parenthesis we are writing the ampersand ID, comma, then the ampersand and the name of the department. So only we are writing the name as, and also that is in between the single quote, then end of parenthesis and semicolon. Now check enter value for ID. That means it is asking for the value in the department ID. And suppose we are here typing 30 and enter value for name. That means it is asking for the name of the department. And suppose here we are typing BBA. Invalid table name, as already we have not provided any table name here. So that must be a wrong thing. So here insert into the name of the table, and that one is the department, and Ctrl S to save and then exit and front slash. So enter value for ID. At that moment it is asking for the ID of the department, that is 30, and enter value for name, that means the name of the department, BBA. So one row created. Now if we want to insert another record in the table, we may use the front slash in the same way. So enter value for ID. Here we are proceeding with the 40, then enter value for the name, and suppose that one is the MSc. So one row created. Now you can use the slash to enter the values repeatedly. That means once again I am inserting another slash. So enter value for ID, and here I am inserting the 50 and the value for name. Suppose I am inserting the mtech. So another row created. Finally, you have to say commit to save all the changes. That means COMMIT and a semicolon. Commit complete. We will discuss over this commit statement in the next videos. Now let's check if we want to insert values in any table not according to the sequence of the columns but according the choice of our order of columns for any particular value. If we don't type any of the name of some columns, they would be with a default value or null value. Let's check it. So once again, at first we are clearing the screen and we are finding the structure of the table employee. So that one is the DSC and then employee. So how we can add the value into the employee table, that means the record in the employee table with our order of columns. So here the statement should be insert into employee, and here we are giving our choice of order of the columns. So suppose first one is our EMP ID. We have to remember the name of the column must be equal to the name of the column given in the table. Then the last name. Then suppose the first name. Then suppose gender. Then suppose the DEPT ID. Then end of parenthesis. Then values, that particular keyword to insert the values into the columns for any particular table. Then the first one is the employee ID. So we are providing 103. Then the last name. So here we are providing dash. Then the first name. So here we are providing Dishan, comma. Then we have the gender. So we are providing capital M, comma, and last one is the department ID. So here we are providing 20. Then the semicolon and press enter, and one row created. Now to check all the records we have already inserted into the tables, we can use the statement like select star from, suppose, department, semicolon, press enter. We should discuss about the select or the dequal statements in the coming videos. So those are the records present in the department table. Same as if we want to check the records present in the employee table, we can use the same statement select star from employee table. Press enter, and here now we can see the output is here, but that is also in a very scattered way. So we can use the format to check really what are the records present in the employee table. And for that, as you know, column, then the name of the column, that is EMP ID, then the format, then suppose it is 820. Then another one, suppose for the first name. Then we are providing it as A20. Then the last name, and also we are providing it as a 20, and then for the contact number also we are providing as 20. Another one we have, suppose it is email ID, and here for the email ID we are providing 30. Then we have the gender. So for column gender we are providing only 5. So here we are writing it as only 5, or suppose 10. Then another one is here, that is date of join and date of birth. So the column that is date of join, here also we are providing it as 20, and the date of birth format as 20. Let's check what happens with the output. So select star from employee, and also once again it is now in the scattered way. So we can also use selective columns to view the output. So suppose select EMP ID, comma, suppose first name, comma, the DEPT ID, to check really what happens with the output from employee. And at that moment we have the EMP ID first name and department ID as the output. So this is the way how we can insert the values into the columns of any particular table. In the next video, we would discuss on the update comment.